everyone, it's Dustin. I got another video for you today and I'm very excited. These parts were really hard to come across and we have finally got the parts. I've had like 3 or 4 other people asking me for these parts. So we got genuine OEM straight from Motorola Z4 parts and we got a broken Z4. So the display went completely out. It's not obvious cracked, but if you look carefully, let's see if we can get an angle here. See the cracks under this display? That happens all the time. So we are going to be getting that fixed today. I am at my place today and we are using a hot plate. It's a bit cold outside, so the hot plate's not warming up all the way, but that's fine. As long as you set your hot plate to 100 degrees Celsius and it's warming up around 85 to 100, you'll be fine. Set it on there for about 5 to 10 minutes and you'll be nice and warm to separate that glass. So I think my video is going to be world's first on this. I have no clue how this phone opens. I'm assuming that it's going to be very similar to the Z3. I hope there's no booby traps like Motorola likes doing sometimes. And we'll see how well it goes. It's just going to be screen repair only. And like all my videos, this is extremely detailed. This is to teach you how to fix this yourself at home. Okay, so this is also for other technicians who just need a quick overview, but it's just not a quick overview, unfortunately. So that's how my videos go. If you're looking for these parts, I will have links in the description as they become available where you can purchase them. And if you do purchase down below, you'll be supporting this channel. So I really appreciate that. And thanks, guys. On to the video. It's Dustin with TechMD. A little quick commercial break. We got a product called Liquid Glass that can cover your phone against $400 in damages or even $150 in damages. And it's super cheap and it's good for a whole year with no deductible. I'm going to have a link in the description below describing the whole product and how the whole process works in a separate video. Thanks for watching. Now back to the video. Okay, so don't mind me. I am currently working on a Google Pixel 3 and my customer came around, so we just actually glued that down. And I got a bunch of screws over here, and yeah, so anyways, we're gonna pull out the genuine parts and just double check to make sure that it is actually the correct size before separating it off. Buying Amazon parts and eBay parts, you may get international ones or the wrong part, and that is very bad. Because then you take off your screen and now your screen no longer works. Unless if it's in this condition, then it doesn't really matter anyways. Okay, so we got a very thin bezel. It doesn't really seem like there's much to even work with. And it looks like there's a plastic on top of the glass that goes around the phone. This is very interesting. I am not sure how it glues down, but we'll see what Motorola does once we pop this open. Now, I just removed something here. Does it have an in-fingerprint reader?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so it has an in-fingerprint reader. That's why we can actually see through the screen here. Just like the Note 10 on my previous video just earlier. Just carefully remove the tape here. And it looks like it's just a very thin connector that sits in there. Now, this didn't come with any adhesive from Motorola. So it looks like we might be using T7000 glue. And I'm starting to run out, but just if you are in a very cold environment like me, warm it up. Okay, so we got it warm here. Take our heat resistant glove. We're going to need an iFlex tool to get inside there. And that part shows clear indications that we are going to need to separate this from the front screen. So it looks like there is a metal or a plastic frame around there. So we're going to get in between the plastic and the metal frame and just slice in there. My tool's getting slightly bent here, so I'm going to go from a different angle. And I don't want to go in too deep because I don't know what's underneath this frame. Don't expect to salvage this screen and separate the glass. First of all, finding glass would be near impossible, and then you'd have to have special equipment to separate the glass anyways. there's no point in salvaging this piece of glass either. Buying original parts from us will guarantee that you will have a Gorilla Glass 5 experience. If this has Gorilla Glass 5. I'm expecting 5, but it could have 6. I'm not sure. But at least you'll get the strongest glass that Motorola offers. I'm struggling to get around that earpiece, so we're just going to come back up around here. Alright, so we're not in too deep. We're going to take our iseasmo tool for prying and twist this up carefully. Looks like the frame wants to come up with the earpiece, so just push it down carefully. See if we can salvage that metal frame around there. There we go. We might have to glue that back down. We'll see. Cable's on the right side this time around, as you can see on the part. Or I can see it right now, but you can see it when I showed you. So this metal frame wants to come up. This is just like the E5 Motorola. Unfortunately. You don't want to warm this up too hot. If you're using a heat gun, you're just going to run circles around this, just over and over until you get warm to touch, but just don't melt that plastic frame. There's the fingerprint there. So it looks like there's just a line of adhesive, and this metal frame, oh, this frame is maybe what it's attached to the screen right now. Interesting. Huh. Well, that's... I might have to remove it. Let's be careful here and figure out what we want to do. Let's go ahead and separate this tape. I'm just going to set it down on the battery so we can use it later. Okay. Just got a phone call real quick, so onward to separating that. So basically you just get under that clip very carefully with your spludger and pop that out. Push the cable out. And that's the screen here. So I'm looking at the screen right now, and it does not have that plastic frame around there anymore. It's gone. Versus this screen does have the plastic frame around it. Looks like. But what is weird is it's not as thick. So that is unusual. You can disconnect the battery if you like, but there's not much room to work with. So I will show you how to properly disconnect this battery. Just make sure you use plastic tools here. Of course, Motorola in there. Tape. I really hate this kind of tape. Are you kidding me? Okay, so it looks like it's under potentially a T5. So I'm going to assume it's a T5 screw so we can disconnect this battery here. Now, the phone is completely dead, but I am showing you how to do this just in case your phone is still alive, because you definitely want to turn it off if you are removing or putting the new Okay, and there's your battery connector, and that was a nightmare just to remove that. That's stupid how they designed that. That was excessive is what we call it in the tech world here. Okay, so now it's fully disconnected. I'm going to try to remove it away from all this conductive tape here. I'm not actually sure what kind of tape it is. now we could test our new screen. But I'm still thinking that we should remove this frame. So let's go ahead and remove this plastic frame. Oh. Okay, so there's a layer of adhesive underneath this frame. That's interesting. Huh. And it's fairly sticky. So if your adhesive is stayed intact, you can go ahead and just reuse it, or you can take some T7000 to it. This is the thing that was attached to the actual old broken screen. Interesting. And of course, there's some adhesive that got near the connector there. All right, let's test this new screen before installing, or before gluing it down, I should say. I'm having a little bit of difficulties getting the cable in. I want it to line up all the way, but maybe it won't. Okay, there's a little bar right here that helps you push it in. I'm not getting very far. Doesn't feel like it's all the way in. That's interesting. Just actually feels very loose, but we'll see here. Okay, we're going to plug this in for a second to charge it and test it. Okay, so we got the phone up and operational. It is really touchy, just to let you guys know. So just make sure that your touch is working everywhere. Just for privacy, we're just not showing everything on this phone, but it's fully functioning. So now we're going to disconnect this here, battery, and this. Pull off this old tape here.
Okay. Are me and him taking one payment, or are we?
And then we're going to use some adhesive to close that down. I'm just going to use some 3M clear tape. Okay, so we're going to take our T7000. And we're going to spread it around. So there is already adhesive here, so we don't need a thick layer, just a very thin layer. All of a sudden wanted to come out quite a bit, so we're just going to spread this a little bit more. Very thin layer up here. Sorry for the noise in the background. That's the perks of working outside. Okay, so now that I got our thin layer, typically I would like to put the battery after putting the screen on, but this design doesn't allow much comfort to doing that. So we're going to plug it in, get our piece of tape, and cover it again. And I'd almost recommend just not even disconnecting it. I'd only disconnect it if the phone was turned on and you couldn't turn it off. Alright, so I already removed the glass or the plastic off it, so that way we can line it up properly. But I recommend doing that before installing the screen. Just makes your life easy. So we're just going to press this in as much as we can. And since it's such a loosey connection, in my opinion, we're going to go ahead and just kick it on, make sure it turns on here. And it does. I'm just looking for alignment here. Just be very careful about putting it down. You don't want to accidentally break this display. We're going to hold this down for a good 60 seconds. I'm going to cut the video. So we're going to continue holding for about 45 more seconds. We just want to make sure that pressure is really good. And I'm just putting pressure all around the entire screen. T7000 is the great, it's amazing glue and it works good. You can use super glue, but I wouldn't recommend it. It dries too fast. Gorilla Glue dries too slow, and you'd have to use clamping pressure for several hours. T7000 dries fairly fast, but it's good enough where you can put it around the whole entire phone, clamp it with some pressure, and it's good to go. I haven't had real issues with it unless the phone has been bent. That's it, guys. You can see it working here. I can't show more, but you just want to make sure that it is clamped perfectly down all around, and then just clean up your excess glue of any glue that has leaked. So I just got a little bit here. Okay. Like I said in the previous, just look for parts down below. We'll have some linked in the description as soon as they're available. So for whatever reason, it's not reading its fingerprint, so we are reprogramming it to see if that is going to function. What's it saying?
Fingerprint sensor is dirty. Please clean and try again. There we go. The sensor is so touchy.
Have you had problems with this earlier?
Not to this extent.
Let me try doing it. See if it's your finger. Or it's the way you're doing it, maybe. Touch and lift. Mine's pretty fast on my phone. So it looks like it's just was a little bit dirty and we just cleaned it. So check your fingerprint sensor reader. Make sure you don't touch the underside as well. It's very important. Okay, so he told me that the Z4 has been known to have fingerprint sensor read issues, and it may be just because it's off alignment. I don't know, but it was a pretty big drop, and so we couldn't really tell if it was still working after the drop. It is working kinda with my fingerprints, and he said he had a screen protector over it and it worked a lot better, so I'm not sure that's unusual. Usually they work less better. So if you have fingerprint reader issues with it afterwards, unfortunately I don't know any solution currently. If I find one in the future, I will post an update video, and I'll put it in the description below. But for now, I'm going to keep on fixing Z4s and seeing if I have any more issues in the future, or if this was just a fluke because it was dropped really hard, or if it's just a manufacturer defect, a lot of them having these issues. Anyways, guys, well, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.